Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexandra from Sesala Design, and in today's video I wanted to show you how I made this button-up dress. Why a button-up dress, you might ask? Well, I desired to make a dress that is a mix between easy to wear and elegant. And I really love the outcome. Buckle up because it's gonna be a long one. You'll need for this dress 4.5 meters of lace or tulle, 4 meters of lining, 20 centimeters of interfacing, and 6 up to 12 buttons. Here is how it looks, the pattern that I've used. The bodice pattern, the sleeve pattern, the skirt pattern, and the formula to get to the final measurement for the skirt. I started with a sketch. After I settled how my dress should look, I've searched through my blocks and drafted the final pattern that you saw before. I folded the tulle 2 times. And I began to measure where I would cut the waistline by measuring from the corner as you see in the picture. From the waistline, I measured the length of my skirt. And cut it. Next, I folded the lining. I repeated the same step as before with the tulle. After I folded 2 times, I placed the tulle on top and cut it. The next step was to cut the back of the bodice after I placed the pattern on the folded fabric. I let an extra 0.5 cm seam allowance. I did the same for the front bodice, but the front bodice pieces are 2 separate parts. Is followed by sleeves, back bodice in tulle, front bodice in tulle, the wristband, and 4 strings. Now we will get to the sewing part, starting with the bodice. I pinned the darts for both the lining and the face tulle, and I sew them. Press each dart I've decided to make a French seam for the top part. That means that I will sew the tulle part and the lining part first, the wrong side to the wrong side. I will press it and trim it close to the edge. Press it one more time, right side to the right side, with the seam enclosed between the faces. Pin it and sew it. It should look like this. Now I will join the tulle with the lining, the wrong side to the wrong side, matching first the shoulder seams. I sew them together. I pinch the corners. And because the tulle part is transparent and you can see the raw edge, I will insert the bias trimming on the finishing to cover it. It is time to sew the sleeves. I pin it, letting a small opening at the bottom of the sleeve. After I sew it, I've decided to make another French seam, so I apply the same technique as before. I roll the hem of the opening and pin it. I sew it. I press the interfacing on the wristbands. And I sew over it the tulle. The next step is to pin and sew the strings, which will help me close the cuffs. I press and attach the strings to the wristbands. Trim the extra seam allowance and turn it over. Now I'll gather the sleeves by increasing stitch length at maximum. Then sewing 2 parallel lines at the bottom of the sleeves. Gather the fabric and pin the wristbands. Sew it. Turn the wristbands inside out. Pin it and sew it again. Now I will attach the sleeves to the top. But before I attach them, I will gather the top of the sleeves to speed up the process. I start pinning the sleeves to the bodice by aligning first the under the arm seams. Sew it. I will use the serger to clean the edges. It's time to attach the skirt. I pin the skirt to the bodice, face and lining together, starting from the middle, the right side to the right side. I'll do the same with the lining of the skirt, the right side of the lining, pin over the wrong side of the face or tulle. I will sew it together. And use the serger to clean the edge. The inside of the dress looks like this. The following step is to finish the hem. I choose to use again my serger to finish the edge of the skirt lining. For the tulle part, I prefer to keep it as it is. The last step for my button-up dress is, of course, to make the buttonholes and to sew the buttons. I roll the front placket and sew it for both sides. If you prefer the front placket to be stiffer, you can use some interface. Since I thought this dress to be very fluid, I fancy it not to use any. I sew it. I measure where I want my buttons to be and mark them on my front placket. To make the buttonholes, I changed the regular presser foot to a presser buttonhole foot. And I choose from the settings the stitch that works with it. I repeated the same process for each buttonhole. The buttonhole looks like this after I use my embroidery scissor to open it, and I sew the buttons. Now it's time to see how the dress fits me. I just love it. When I'm talking about this dress, I call it the robe dress, because it's so silky and feels great on the skin. I started to take some pictures in it, but something wasn't quite right. So I wanted to change that. Let's just say it wasn't as I expected. I had to wait for a while, but the pictures were something. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you have any questions or advice, as usual, I would really like to hear them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and share if you learned something new and valuable. Until next time, let's find inspiration.